Hi guys, welcome back to another Algorand video. Today I'm going to take you through an overview of wrap tokens on Algorand, have a discussion about the Ethereum virtual machine project, and before we go further, this is not financial advice, just educational and just opinions of my own. Okay, so let's get into this. So the case for wrap tokens and virtual machines. So last month at ETH Denver, Stacy Warden, who is the CEO of Algorand, said this. She said that Algorand believes in a multi-chain world, specific to multi-blockchains. Running smart contracts written for Ethereum on Algorand eliminates the barriers for popular DeFi protocols and NFT projects to serve multiple chains while significantly decreasing the costs to those who participate. So important stuff there, decreasing the cost to those who participate. We're going to elaborate more on that in the rest of throughout the video. Just some examples down here of other blockchains so you get an idea, and of course Stacy right there at the right. I'm going to discuss here custodial versus smart contracts and what these are. So I said we're discussing wrap coins today, such as, say, like goBTC. These require a custodial account to form. Custodians expected to ensure safe accounts, accurate storage, assets, fully backed tokens to circulate, requires third parties to provide audits, provide accuracy, etc., etc. Whereas a smart contract is a program or a code that's stored on the blockchain to run this, and basically there's predetermined conditions and metrics that are immutable as per the contract itself. And of course, consensus is controlled in the form of computer code rather than a person or like a company or a custodian. So it's smart contracts would be more the decentralized, and custodial is more of the centralized again. And this is going to tie back into why I'm discussing both of these today. And of course, Algorand actually has its own AVM layer. If you weren't aware, you can go to the developer page at the bottom here and learn about that, and how the Algorand virtual machine is the second layer and how that works with Teal. And that's very interesting to learn a little bit more about how our own native coin works, basically, or currency. So I'm going to bring this up: store value versus transactions. There's two things really in finance that we look at. Obviously there's the transactional aspect of it, which is a completed agreement between buyers and sellers. These are things that happen frequently throughout a day. There's lots of them. It's transactions, it's buys, sells, any small things, whereas a store of value is typically something like an asset or a commodity or currency that is something that's going to be able to be exchanged in the future without losing its value. You can save it, retrieve it. Over time, it should be worth the same or more in the future. And one way to do a valuation of store of value is using the stock to flow model. I've included a link down here where you can actually look at the Bitcoin stock to flow model, which I will bring up towards the end here as well too. We're going to tie this back into our discussion. Let's talk about transaction fees. So if transactions are the thing that happen most frequently, this is something where essentially a fee is essentially the difference between the cost sent and the cost received. All of these, even credit card companies, have a transaction fee. If you own a business and you operate a credit card processing machine, you understand that there's anywhere from a 2 to a 4% fee that has to go on top of every transaction just to move that money around. And you know that when you charge a card or when you move a dollar, you've seen on these exchanges and even in wallets, it'll tell you that there's a transaction fee. So currently, Bitcoin average transaction fees are about $1.06 per transaction. This is data that you can find at ycharts.com. These are at the bottom there. And this is actually down 88% from a year ago, where the average was about $13.57 to send Bitcoin. And it reached a high of $62.79 in April. Now, up at the top here, transaction fees are based on the data volume of a transaction and the congestion of a network. So these are depending on how many users, how much data is flowing through this, and things like that. The Ethereum, you can see over here on the right, we were at $1.20, $1.24 today, down 92%, so Ethereum's come down more, I guess, if you want to say that, 1577, and from a high of 7172. These are transaction fees, cost to move money from one wallet or from one person to another. Okay, this is the cost that it costs to move money. On Algorand, this is really interesting. Again, if you look in the developer pages, they quite clearly say there is no concept of gas fees on Algorand. That is because this layer 1 was a transactional financial tool. It has completely different tokenomics to say something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is more program-based language. But either way, so Algorand really is the financial or the transactional layer 1 blockchain of here, and it's the native currency. And basically, even on DEXs still to swap in the Algorand ecosystem are still extremely low, pretty much across 1% across the board. And of course, these are significantly less than Ethereum and Bitcoin currently. So you can see here the cost to move money on Algorand. This is one of its biggest advantages, is next to nothing. It's less than a tenth of a penny. So going back to valuations and basically stores of value, this is something I wanted to draw your attention to. There was another YouTuber recently that put out a video, Crypto Zombie, drawing attention to the Real Vision Finance interview that happened with Brian Estes, who is the CEO of Off the Chain Capital. The link is right there to the actual video, and of course I have a link to his website, but he uses the stock to flow valuation model of Bitcoin. And that's how he determines his valuation. I'm not going to go into the price level he talks about, but what I really wanted to say on this was, if you're into Bitcoin, I get it. I understand, and I understand why this is seen as such a great store of value, and why other people may see it as that way too. Now, here's the key word. We just said seen as a store of value. That's really the best utility, because quite frankly, for average, smaller purchases, things like that, the fees and the gas and stuff to move transactions is really kind of cumbersome. It was designed to do one thing, and it does one thing very well. It's very scarce. It's immutable. But there's some things that it could be doing better with, and this is going to tie into our conversation here on wrap tokens. So if you've seen on any of the Algorand exchanges, goBTC, goETH, these are wrap tokens, and this is a concept that's come through from Algomint. And I'm going to explain just what a wrap token is. This is a non-native cryptocurrency that is essentially wrapped into a form that can be used on Algorand. So it allows non-native blockchains that can be redeemed for the original cryptocurrency. And I have a chart here that really kind of shows exactly what I'm getting to. Here's the point. You want to keep your Bitcoin for a reason. It's a great store of value, not so great as a transactional tool as far as gas is concerned. However, Algorand has a great rail system, and now with this, and this comes into custodialship, and this is what we'll get into in just a second here. But now what we have is the availability to still not have to cash out of your Bitcoin per se, but you can essentially have this place with a custodian, and Algomint calls this the minting process, where you're going to have a 1-to-1 ratio of your non-native Bitcoin able to be used natively here on Algorand, taking advantage of some of those really super cheap transaction fees. How Algomint works, this is really a screenshot you would see if you go in there. Keep in mind this is custodial based, so this is centralized, or more centralized really. Some people might have a problem with that, but of course, depending on your level of how much that matters to you, this is just one way that you can really take advantage of the ecosystem more. And this shows you how you mint and unlock. It's at a 1-to-1 ratio. There is a minting fee, which they'll, full disclosure, explain to you what those are. And of course, I've listed over here the ASA IDs for both goBitcoin and goETH. Algomint security. So if you would like to know more how this is done, and this is going to change. So for the first version of this, and I bring this up because this is where we're at right now. This is just March 27th, this Sunday, where we're at right now. Algomint works with Copper CO, third-party digital asset custodian entrusted by Algorand and other financial institutions. and the audits are conducted by Vantage Point. So right now it is KYC. They do take customer information, and it is centralized for now. They are actively rolling out the second version of the product, which is actually going to be on-chain smart contract custody to decentralize the operation. So they are aware of this. It's just a matter of timing, and as this technology rolls out, basically. You can look more at the security. There's a link to Algomint's website. They can explain how that's done. The Ethereum virtual machine. This is what's bringing us up to this, and that quote that I brought up at the beginning of this from Stacey Warden. She is leading the company. She's leading Algorand into a state of interoperability between blockchains. This is coming. There's a $10 million super grant going out right now to aid in this. They are giving money to developers to build this out. It's not there yet. For right now, we have the ability to do it. We have to settle with wrap tokens for now. Whether or not that'll still remain to be viable or the most viable solution in the future remains to be seen. But for now, it is in the works. It is going to be the smart contract version of this, and ultimately keeping things decentralized, which is what the community wants. It's typically what you want if you're getting into this. We're just not quite there yet. So final thoughts on this. For the time being, we do have the ability to do this. If you want to be in Bitcoin, I get that. I understand the tokenomics of it and why you would want to remain in Bitcoin. But also at the same time, the Algorand network is there, and you can save so much money with gas fees. If you want to, take advantage of these things, which I highly recommend. As you can see, the numbers are pretty high up there. The goal for these being the support of the bridges and interoperability between other blockchains. They're actively in the works on this. Just kind of hang tight, be patient. But for now, we have the wrap coins. So I hope this was great information for you guys. Explained a little bit more about what wrap token is versus the smart contract version of it, the developments with the EVM, and kind of where the whole ecosystem is going towards. So thanks guys so much for listening. Hope this was great. Give me a like if you found this good information. Please share or subscribe. And thanks so much guys. Have a great rest of your day.